there are people right now working on ways in which we will only charge our smartphones once a month. Can you even imagine how amazing that would be?
Hey everyone, and welcome to XSTEM All Access. I'm Maynard Okereke, also known as the Hip Hop M.D, and I'm excited to be part of this series, showcasing some of the coolest minds in STEM. As your guest host for this episode, I'm excited to chat with Dr. Alexis Vogt. Alexis is an optical engineer and professor who is passionate about inspiring students to discover the field of optics. Today, she's going to show us how optics is all around us and how this industry harnesses the power of light to drive innovation in STEM and everyday life. So please join me in welcoming our speaker, Alexis. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today.
Hey Maynard, thank you so much for that great introduction. I am so honored to be here today to talk to you about this incredible field called optics. Now you might be thinking I'm talking about a pair of glasses, but I'm not. This is the industry that is revolutionizing the way in which we live. It's so much more than just glasses, and I'm really excited to be here today with you to tell you all about it.
Okay, so you may not know this, but glasses are kind of my thing, and I'm definitely excited to learn about all the ways the optics industry shapes our world. For those watching that aren't familiar with the field, Alexis, could you tell us what exactly is optics and why is it so important?
Optics is an unbelievable field. It is the field of the future. It's the field that's inventing everything that we've done. Like, have you ever wondered how Netflix works and shows up at your house? We have optical fiber to thank for that. Optics is the field of light. It's science, it's energy, it's engineering. Optics is the field that is creating all of our next advances like driverless cars. It's responsible for lasers and lenses. Lenses like we send to the moon, to the Mars, the James Webb Space Telescope, maybe even the lenses that you might wear in your own glasses. Optics is light and it's surrounding everything that we're doing. And this is the field of science and engineering that is creating the next generation of how we live, from the cameras that might be outside of your house, or maybe they're inside of your house. The camera is the backup cameras, your smartphone. Those are all things that are created because of optics.
Okay, I was excited before, but now you've definitely piqued my interest. You also mentioned several important items that are the result of optics. Can you tell us a bit more about everyday items that we rely on that use optics technology?
Optics is used throughout our entire day, from smartphones. Perhaps some of you or your parents use their smartphone as an alarm clock. That's optics. To the lights that are in our rooms, to the mirrors that are in our bathroom as we get together and ready for school in the morning, to the backup cameras in our cars. So if your parents are pulling out of the driveway and you see the backup camera, that's all optics. Maybe it's a really sunny day out and your parents put on a pair of polarized sunglasses. Those are optics. In fact, let me show you some right here. These are two polarizers. I can see you. I can see you. If I put them together, we've lost a little bit, but we can still see one another. But look what happens when I take one of them and I rotate it 90 degrees. What? You've entirely disappeared. These are polarizers. We wear polarized sunglasses because they cut down in the glare that we see on a really bright sunny day, or maybe in a swimming pool, or if you're out fishing in the ocean or in some body of water. We use polarized sunglasses. These are all optics. To lasers, to lenses. Lenses maybe in your glasses, but lenses that are also in the back of your smartphone. To exploring space, to explaining how rainbows are formed. It's all optics. We use optics throughout all of our daily lives.
Okay, so we all use our smartphones every day, and I doubt that most of us are thinking about optics when we're texting away or scrolling on social media. And that backup camera in my car is crucial, but I'm certainly not thinking about optics when I'm trying to not run into a pole behind me when I'm backing up. Even things like rainbows, which are absolutely beautiful, especially double rainbows, optics is probably the last thing on my mind then either. But we know now that optics is integral to all of these familiar everyday items. So could you tell us what are some high-tech or maybe even futuristic innovations that rely on optics?
Have you ever thought about driving or riding in a self-driving car? I actually did it recently last week for the very first time. You get into the car and there's no one in the driver's seat. They actually fasten the seatbelt so it looks like there could be someone, but there's not anybody there. And then the car drives you all around where you've asked it to take you. It is safer than driving with a real person because that self-driving car doesn't get distracted from a text message or a phone call. The self-driving car doesn't stop to eat. The self-driving car doesn't have other people in the car distracting it. The self-driving car uses optics to navigate where it's going, to keep it safe. It has cameras and it has sensors and it uses a technology called LiDAR. So I was in San Francisco riding around in a driverless car. That is an example of technology that's enabled by optics. Let me give you another example. This right here, it looks a little bit like fishing wire or fishing line. Maybe some of you like to go fishing. It's similar to that. This is actually an optical fiber. This is what brings us high-speed internet access to our homes. This is what we have to thank for Netflix or for seamless phone calls around the entire world. This tiny little tube, it's actually made of glass. You can send light in one end and it comes out the other end. These types of advancements are enabling the way that we can communicate around the entire world. Optics is enabling sustainability. It's protecting our environment. It's helping us understand the world in which we live. Maybe some of you have heard about the James Webb Space Telescope. That's out there. That is all enabled by optics. Lenses, cameras, sensors, they're all optics. And they're enabling the ability for us to understand what's happening out in the world, in a world in which we cannot even get to ourselves.
Oh, now that is wild. From enabling cars without a driver to exploring outer space and opening communication channels around the globe, it doesn't get much more futuristic than that. And that optical fiber we saw does look a lot like a fishing line, but don't be fooled by its humble appearance. It's actually really high tech. So how about we break down a few fun facts about optical fiber? I can only imagine that the students out there watching are curious about careers in optics. Alexis, can you tell us about the types of industries or perhaps even jobs an optics professional could work in?
I'm an optical engineer. I studied optics at the University of Rochester's Institute of Optics, where I learned all about lasers and lenses and light, and it's so incredibly fascinating. But there are a number of different pathways you can enter into this industry. You could study optics at a community college. Now I'm a professor at Monroe Community College here in Rochester, New York, where you could come for 1 year or for 2 years and go right into the optics industry. In fact, the people who make really great optics technicians that I train, they are artists, musicians, gamers, chefs, mechanics, athletes. Perhaps many of you fit into one of those categories. You would make an excellent optics technician. You would then come into our program, you'd learn about this wonderful field, and then we would teach you how to make things like this lens. This lens has a different shape on the front and on the back, and you might even be able to tell that it's got some colors associated with it. We teach you all about how to make a lens just like this. This lens could then go into space. Maybe you wanted to work at NASA before. Optics is the way to get into that. But optics companies also need people who know finance, who know business, who like to sell things. So this industry can be for truly anybody who has an interest in understanding how the world works and creating technology that's going to improve all of our lives moving forward.
That is so well said, Alexis. For those watching, if you want to expand your own curiosity and even learn more information about careers in optics, check out our resource page right here. So now, all this talk about lasers, lenses, sensors, and light has me curious. What has been the coolest or most exciting optics project you've seen or even worked on?
One of the fascinating things about this optics industry that I love so much is that it's creating ways that improve how we live our lives. It's used for safety, it's used for efficacy, it's used for us to do things like understand our own ancestry and our background. So before I became a professor, I was working in the optics industry, and I designed optical systems for DNA sequencing. So perhaps you've or your parents have purchased one of those kits that you swab the inside of your mouth and then you send it away to find out about your own ancestry, where you came from, or maybe that of your pets, to understand what kind of dog you have. That is all analyzed by an optical system that I helped create. That enables us to understand about our history. But the other thing I love about optics is it's improving the ways in which we all live. I'm working right now with some teams of people who are developing ways in which we can have wireless internet access all over the world. There are parts of Africa where they don't have running water and they don't have electricity, but soon they'll have access to the internet. We're choosing to make these new devices and these new methods enabled by optics so that we can improve the way that we all live around the entire world.
Oh, that is crazy. Who knew that DNA sequencing technology utilizes optics? How cool is that? This is really a great example of how optics plays a vital role in life-changing technologies, which brings me to another question. What are some other challenges in optics that maybe researchers are currently trying to solve?
The beauty of optics is it's revolutionizing the way in which we live. When we think about technologies, what's really unique about optics is we can make our devices faster, we can make them smaller, and we can make them more energy efficient. In fact, there are people right now working on ways in which we will only charge our smartphones once a month. Can you even imagine how amazing that would be? If you only had to charge your smartphone once a month, there are people working on those types of challenges. There are people working on ways in which we can make a semiconductor chip even more improved. So the semiconductor chip, that's the brains behind our smartphones, behind our computers. And if we can more efficiently make those semiconductor chips, then we can improve in which the way we all live. These types of devices are explaining so much about our world, the world that we can reach, but also the world we can't get to, like Mars. Understanding what's happening on Mars. We're using optics to do precisely that, to understand all about different aspects of the universe that we can't easily get to. We turn to optics to solve all of those problems as well.
Okay, as someone who's on their phone constantly for work, having the ability to only charge my phone once a month sounds like a dream come true and definitely something I would love to see come to reality. Can you tell us what are some other ways you think advances in optics will change our world in maybe the next 10 years?
When we think about how our world is going to change in the next 10 years, you have to go back to optics. Because optics is what's revolutionized our world to this point right now, and it's going to continue to do so moving forward. If we pause for a moment and we think back to devices we used to use, a lot of electronic devices. If it's an electronic device, it means it was plugged into the wall and it was powered by electricity or electrons. What we're doing now is we're taking those devices and instead of powering them with electrons, we're powering them with light. We're powering them with photons. What that enables us to do is to then make them faster, smaller, and more energy efficient because nothing in the world travels faster than light. Nothing in the world travels faster than light. So when we think about future advancements and we're using light to power our devices, nothing can travel faster. And so that creates the opportunity for us to have amazing technologies that are being developed, problems that can be solved in our world by using optics, lasers, lenses, fiber optics, so that we can all live better lives, healthier lives, and longer lives.
Okay, I am officially a newfound fan of the optics industry. I am completely sold, Alexis. It's just incredible to think about how these future advancements will be powered by light. It's just absolutely crazy. So, Alexis, I have one more question before we officially sign off. Let's say I'm a middle or high school student who wants to explore optics further. What can I do now to get started?
This optics industry is so fascinating that I hope you all will go and learn more about it. This is truly the field that is captivating the world and creating our future advancements. There are some really remarkable websites, thefuturisoptics.com, where you can go and you can see the wonderful beauties of this optics industry. For you to learn more about where you can study this, how you can play a role in this. But if you appreciate your smartphone, if you like using Netflix and maybe watching your favorite show, you have optics to thank for that.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you, optics. And for those interested, you can also find a link to the futurisoptics.com and other optics related resources right here. Alexis, I thoroughly enjoyed chatting with you today and learning about the incredible field of optics that is truly revolutionizing our world.
Maynard, thank you so much for this opportunity to be with you, and to all the students out there, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you found this exciting. I hope that you can appreciate that this field is so exciting and remarkable, and you too could have a future in this optics industry. Remember, the people who make great optical technicians and engineers are artists, musicians, gamers, chefs, mechanics, and athletes. We hope that you all are inspired and you come and join the optics industry.
Yes, I think we are all absolutely inspired. It's crazy because we now know optics is such an essential component to the technologies we all rely on, yet we don't hear a lot about it. So I want to say thank you, Alexis, for opening our eyes to this exciting STEM field. And thank you to the audience for tuning in today. Please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel in the description below and follow us on social media to get updates about new episodes, because trust me, you don't want to miss any of them. Plus, you'll get access to fun weekly content for students and teachers. And don't forget to check out the full library of episodes available on demand right here. Each one has NGSS-aligned lesson plans for teachers to use in the classroom. And each lesson also includes a career connection component, so your students can explore real-world careers associated with this topic. I had an absolute blast being your host today, and all of you can also keep up with my own hip-hop science STEM adventures here. I'll catch you all next time for more XSTEM All Access episodes, where we'll get a chance to meet more of the coolest and interesting minds in STEM. See y'all soon.